29th of April today, and what I'm going to sow today are my Cucamelons. Now you can sow these all the way through April and all the way through May. I was going to sow them earlier, but the last sort of week or so the temperature has just plummeted. It's got really cold. We've even woken up to frosts, and we actually had snow at the beginning of this week. Not much, it didn't settle, but you know, enough. So we've gone from the beginning of the summer being beautiful and hot and just glorious to it just suddenly dropping, which is why I've put off sowing my Cucamelons. Even though they'll be in the greenhouse, the nights are getting a bit cold and I was just a bit iffy about them. But the weather now seems to be turning ever so slightly, so hopefully it'll warm up. Cucamelons are lovely. If you've not come across them before, you grow them the same as you would cucumbers, but you end up with tiny little fruits that sort of size, about the size of an olive, a large olive, and they look like very small watermelons, but they taste like cucumbers and they have like a citrusy, zesty flavour to them. They're absolutely fabulous. You don't need to peel them or anything like that. You just pick and eat. They're great for putting in salads because they just look so nice. And they don't seem to get that sort of powdery mildew that cucumbers tend to get. So they seem to be fairly bug free. I don't seem to have suffered with bugs from them at all. If you live in a hotter climate, you can grow them outside, but here in the UK, I've always grown them inside in the greenhouse and they seem to be very happy. So let me show you how to sow these. Okay, so I've just got a little seed tray. If you wanted to, you could start these off in 3-inch pots, but I've got a little seed tray, so I'm going to put some compost in the seed tray, fill it all the way to the top, level it off and give it a nice gentle pat down. And then if your compost is dry, like mine is very dry, then give it a good water like that and wait for the water to soak all the way through, and then we can start sowing these seeds. Now if you are sowing them outside, they will sort of, they're a vine, so they will spread. So if you want to sow them up a little bit of trellis or make a little wigwam for them, then by all means do. They'll be very happy. Now these are the seeds. They're very tiny. They look like small cucumber seeds, and basically that's what they are. So I am going to sprinkle these across the top of the compost. If you do get some that are a little bit too close to each other, then just space them out a little bit. I've got some that are a little bit too close, so I'll just move them apart. Space them about, well, a minimum of half an inch apart from each other. Okay. If you've got a bit more space, then space them a little bit further about. It just gives them a bit of space to grow. So there they are, and then all you need to do is to just sprinkle some compost on the top and then just level it off. Now because this compost is incredibly dry, I will actually give it just a tiny bit of water. I know I don't usually do that, but just because the compost is so dry, I feel that I should. Now hopefully in a couple of weeks, depending on the weather, these should start to come up, but when they do, I'll let you know. Right, well, I don't know if you can hear that. It's just started to hail. How fabulous. So I'm very glad I'm in the greenhouse. Yes, that's definitely hail. So I'll stay in here for a bit until it clears up, or maybe I'll have to make a run for the house. I've got lots of other things to do. So that's the cucamelons. Make sure you label them, and as I say, I will keep you updated on their progress. They do seem to do very, very well. They don't seem to be faffy at all. Just sow them in normal multi-purpose compost, and they'll just grow beautifully for you. Sometimes, and I have done this, you can keep, once the plants die back, you can actually keep them for the following year, and they'll start to grow the following year. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do. So when we come to that stage, because I have saved some from last year, so I'll see how they are, and if you can keep them, then they'll just keep for several years. But that's the cucamelons. And I hope you found that useful, and I hope you do give them a try. They are very easy to find. I got mine from Mr. Fothergill's, but you can also get them from Sutton Seeds as well, because they're part of the James Wong collection. They have these beautiful tiny little yellow flowers which are just glorious, and behind that flower your cucamelon will start to grow. But I will show you that as and when I come to it. Well, I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.